Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader, and these are the charts of the day for Wednesday, November the 9th. Since we haven't covered any of the boxer shorts this week and the market's rolling over here, we thought we should at least give you an update on what some of the charts in that list look like and some of the better picks. First, I'm going to start off with the ultra shorts that are looking the best here. That's the TVIX and the VXX. Here's why. If you take a look at the patterns, you'll see that they basically had come way up from the teens into the low hundreds, roll over, and a hard three waves decline that took it all the way down into the mid 30s. Bounced sharply, pulled back to retest, formed kind of a head and shoulders here with an island reversal low. That's very bullish. The trend, the declining little 5-day declining pattern here, what looks like potentially a little bit of a falling flag or wedge or whatever. Broke out with a thrust today as the stock exploded for 1720 or 37%, and volume soared to 6.8 million shares, the second heaviest volume since August. Now, it closed right at or just slightly above the 50, which augurs well for more upside. There is some resistance at 68.5-ish, which would be my short-term target for tomorrow morning, perhaps. But if it does get through that, it can rocket again up into the 80s. So we'll see what happens with that. And now covering the other one, the VXX, which was up 19% today on 35 million shares. Same thing happened there, only it closed up above the declining tops line and out of this little head and shoulders pattern. Very similar, but because they're related to each other, and then one is a long futures, and the other one is a ultra long. Now on the short side, Cobance CVD. It's been on our box of shorts list for a while. See the top, the break, the snap back, and then the stair step lower, followed by the sharp rebound right to resistance at this neckline and at the declining tops line, the parallel channel top. That rolled over, and today, after a couple of days of bouncing, fell back $1.86 to 3.8% and is in jeopardy of cracking this line here. That's around 47, closing right near there. And heading down for a retest of the 43.44 range, which would be my short-term target. And if the stock continues and breaks that level, we can see something in the high 30s. Catalyst Health looking very ominous here with a massive head and shoulders top. Scrolling in, you'll see it cracked hard with a breakaway gap to the downside out of this wedge pattern here. Let me show that to you. Here's the wedge. Big break a week ago. Snap back for a few days on short covering perhaps. Rolled right up to the gap. Today rolled over another $1.83 at 3.72%. Now the consequences of that pattern are that if this entire pattern is taken down, we can see a very quick hit down towards 42 to test lateral price support at these lows in here. But if that's broken, this thing could get into the mid-30s. Franklin Resources, BEN, which had broken hard here from the big wedge, which we called for a short around 120, dropped all the way down to the 80s. Snapped back big time with the market rally. And as you can see here, has a potentiality to retest that low down around 88, maybe even get into the low 80s. So keep your eye on this one. Down 563 or 5% today. GOI, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend short here only because it's the bottom of the channel, has come down very hard from 36.5 to 25 just in the last week and a half or so, And so there is even though it's as weak as it is, we may see some downside break of the channel. If so, we can get into the low 20s very quickly. TRW, ominously broke a top, snapped back to it, failed and stair step lower, and then snapped back early this month. But you can see it's formed a little bear wedge here, or bear flag, and today dropped $1.30 to 3.5%. If we take out 35, 34 3/4, 35, looking for a retest of lows down around 30, possibly even high 20s, if things get really ugly out there. MGA, which had been coming down for a while now, broke this top here, snapped back here. This rising wedge here was broken a week ago. It snapped back after a couple of days of low volume pullback. Today rolled over again for 213 or 6%. And it looks like it may be headed for a retest of the lows around 30. If that's taken out, potentially 28 or less. China Yunshai has been on a short list for a long time. As you can see, the pattern took it down from the 30s into the low teens, formed a rising wedge here, and rolled over. Today down 60 cents or 4.25%. If the this key support level is taken out, we can see this thing plunge into the high single digits or $10 range. Open table continues to be ugly and remain ugly. You can see how this long down channel is taking it from over 100 down to the mid 30s. It bounced and now it's rolling over down another 4% or $1.62 today. Conceivably, this stock can get down into the high 20s or low 30s. Dolby Labs, I've been bearish on this one for what, a year and a half. The stock was rolled over hard particularly in August, bounced to resistance at mid-channel resistance, starts to its way to the bottom of the channel, and then over the last month or so, it's formed a bear flag here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave. Rallied back to midline, and then rolled over hard today for 323 or 10%. Looks like it's broken this pattern, and it could at least test the lows, if not reach 24 short term. Creighton Performance has been a disaster this year. After such a beautiful run up last year, it rolled over hard with the breakaway gap to the downside here. Stair-stepped its way lower to the bottom of the channel as I'd drawn it, and then had a corrective wedge form here, which with poor technicals looks like it's rolling over. It was down $1.41 or 7% today. And if KRA breaks any harder, it takes out 17 and a quarter. We could see this stock in the low teens. First, a break of 14 and a half or so could get this in down towards 12. And lastly, today is Ensign Group, ENSG, which broke hard here in August, has spent the last 3 months forming this large wedge. Today, dropping $1.36 or 5.6%. If this line is taken out here, I could see a retest of 19.5, possibly even down into the mid-teens if you get a very ugly break to the bottom of this channel and lateral price support. 16 or so, maybe 15. That's it. It's a pretty ugly picture out there. Some pretty negative technicals today and on increasing volume. It's not good, folks. Good night.